You know, I may sound like a broken record, but again, you will only go as far as your personal development. Personal development and developing a healthy wealth consciousness is just as big a part or even larger than the science and the strategy of the business plan. Regardless of the strategy or how many Facebook or Instagram fans you have, without personal development, you'll have a difficult time reaching your goal or even holding on to the fruits of your labor. Even I had to develop myself in this area. I was guilty of undercharging and basically devaluing my services. I could easily each month have on average 50 new clients monthly, but was so darn inexpensive that it was still difficult to make a living with it. I was working like a slave, had more client transformation videos and photos than I knew what to do with. So many were experiencing life-changing results and some even saved marriages, but I devalued my services that I offered them. I would keep playing the same story over and over in my head. How it's so hard to find people who will pay higher rates. It's so hard to find people who will pay higher rates. And you know what happened? It indeed became very hard to find people who would pay higher rates. And until I changed the story that was playing in my head, I just couldn't get higher rates. And there are three problems with devaluing and undercharging. First one is it's a shortage and a poverty mindset. When you do this, you are envisioning a shortage in your mind, a shortage of people who see value in you, a shortage of people who have the money to pay this, a shortage of just money in the world. And this will indeed create a shortage in your life and in your finances. Second, yes, undercharging makes it tough to make a living, and it devalues the industry and what you bring to others' lives. 3, it also teaches people how to treat you, and it shapes their opinion on what you and others in the industry are worth. This is not about price gouging, but it's about setting a standard of value. I have seen some super talented personal trainers charging $10 to $15 an hour, which is equivalent to a low wage earner. I understand trying to be competitive, but this also teaches others that your industry is not worth any more than a low paid worker. This teaches the general public that your contribution and the wealth of knowledge that you have has little value. And we all know true health and wellness professionals who spent years learning all about the human body. They learned a lot about the human body and the human behavior and emotions, and they have saved lives. They've saved marriages, and they are extremely valuable part of society. They put a lot of time and a lot of money into their certifications and even into a health, some type of health care degree. The best trainers are so incredibly brilliant at their craft. They literally help save lives by education on health, nutrition, mindset, emotions, and lifestyle. They are worth far more than $10 an hour. After getting coached myself by an awesome life and business coach, I now have a healthier wealth consciousness. I know my value. I ask for my rate. I get my rate, and I make a great living. Another example is a wonderful woman I spoke to. Just a wonderful woman who was very educated and always had professional jobs, fairly well-paying professional jobs. Even with that, she always struggled financially. You would have assumed she was an uneducated woman, and that, she lived in a small, dingy apartment. She could barely hold on to her car and keep it running and keep the bills paid on the car. all while, she just barely made ends meet, all due to her mindset. Her deep-rooted beliefs were that rich people were greedy. She turned her nose up at anyone who had any form of comfort, whether it was a nice car or a nice home. She didn't like talking about money, or she resented hearing others talk too much about it. And this mindset made it very difficult for her to hold on to the fruits of her labor, because she found some way to just get rid of it just as quickly as she got it. It frustrated her to struggle paying bills, and it was all literally due to her mindset. Now, her education and her good job alone just could not overcome the thinking limitations. So that's why personal development is just so very important. Now, this story may seem extreme, but there are a lot of examples of thinking limitations that can hold you back from your goals. Even my story is not as extreme as the woman I just described, but I had my own limitations in my thinking, because I'm just as human as the rest. I learned so much about myself in my own coaching. I learned my strengths and my weaknesses, and so personal development is a big part of my coaching. You just can't have one without the other if you want to attain your goal and if you want to keep your long-term success.